Have you ever asked yourself, am I really in control of my life? What if I told you that many of your choices, your beliefs, your habits, your finances, even your very identity aren't entirely yours? There's a system at work here, one so deeply ingrained that even the most rebellious among us are caught in its web. To a degree, we are all complicit. The term NPC, non-player character, might sound like an insult, but what if it's actually a terrifying truth? What if we're all playing pre-programmed roles, defined for the benefit of a selected few? Governments and big corporations have mastered the art of programming NPCs. Legacy systems have seemingly got us all trapped. But the bigger question is, how do you escape them? This video explores an alternative, one we can all participate in that has the capabilities to facilitate the deprogramming of the masses. This video will introduce you to the very system they don't want you to find. But first to NPCs or non-player characters, originally a term spawned from video games referring to characters that follow pre-written scripts, incapable of true independent thought or actions and unable to deviate from their coding. But in society and in the context of this video, they're the people who follow the path laid out for them without questioning it. They have the ultimate trust in authority. They frequently demonstrate and regurgitate the unthinking repetition of "they said." Does this sound familiar to you? A true NPC is anyone who operates on autopilot without agency. They follow the rules without question, trust authority without skepticism, and go through life doing exactly what they are told because that's just the way it is. This isn't to insult anyone, it's more of a wake-up call. Most of us at some point have been or are NPCs in some way, following scripts written by forces that are seemingly beyond our control. And society is geared up to manufacture NPCs. It starts from birth. Education teaches obedience, not critical thinking. Media feeds you prepackaged opinions that are repeated in a relentless propaganda-style fashion. So-called authority figures instill fear of stepping out of line. The result? A population that's not thinking for themselves but instead existing for the benefit of a privileged few. And in the NPC factory, the programming process goes deep. First, compliance through authority. Think back to the pandemic. Whether it was mask mandates, lockdowns, or vaccine rollouts, compliance was almost universal. The message was clear: do this or else. Fear was the lever. Even those who questioned the narrative often complied because authority, governments, scientists, media, and even your very own peers demanded it. But the deeper issue isn't what decisions were made, but how easily we were all programmed to obey. Whether you agreed or not isn't the point. The real story is how quickly society fell in line. Perceived authority won. The government said it, so it must be true. Meanwhile, after measly government handouts during lockdowns dried up, one of the greatest transfers of wealth was initiated that the average person today is suffering the after effects of. I personally lost a majorly successful business during this time that relied on a frictionless global shipping and import system in order to survive. Many small to medium companies either suffered or went completely out of business, while the major corporations became even stronger, tightening their grip on both your bank accounts and mind. You've heard the saying, never let a good crisis go to waste. Governments and corporations capitalized on the chaos, while the smaller players were completely priced out of markets. In this example, compliance through authority had us locked in our homes, damaging our mental and physical health, not to mention the adverse effect it had on our livelihoods as a result of extreme economic mismanagement. The pandemic is probably the best example of NPC programming. Many are still suffering the effects of this today, still wearing masks, scared to be around others, still social distancing, and firmly locked into the mainstream propaganda machine, ready to jump as soon as the next widespread order is demanded of them. Next, the power of repetition. Every day you're bombarded with messages on the news, social media, and even if you miss them, they'll come up during casual conversations. The headlines, policies, and social norms reinforce what's right and what's wrong. They said becomes gospel. They said the economy will recover soon. They said this is the safest path. They said take the vaccine or you're putting others at risk. These phrases aren't harmless, they're programming tools. The more we hear them, the more we internalize them as truth. And challenge these truths, you're labeled an idiot, troublemaker, or outright conspiracy theorist. The power of repetition, and importantly, who owns the narrative being repeated, will always prevail and ensures they remain firmly in control as the programmer, not the programmed. And finally, deception and distraction. The political theatre keeps you busy debating left versus right, so-called good versus evil. In recent times, it's even had us questioning what is a woman. Meanwhile, the real game, the consolidation of power, goes unnoticed. Your freedoms, your choices, your voice slowly diminish without you even realizing it. While you're debating political parties, celebrity scandals, or the latest trend, the real game continues in the shadows of NPCs. Power is consolidated, wealth is redistributed upwards, your freedoms eroded one regulation and government crony handshake at a time. And the distractions work because they keep you focused on anything but the big picture. And the easiest targets to be deceived and distracted? A population of pre-programmed NPCs. Rather than uniting against the real issue, a broken system, society is fractured and has us fighting against one another. Recognizing everyday NPC behavior can be uncomfortable because even if you see through the programming, the chances are you're still complicit. Think about it. You work a job you hate not because it fulfills you, but because that's just how life works and the cost of living demands it of you. You vote in elections hoping for change, despite subconsciously knowing that history shows us time after time it never truly improves. The faces in power change, but that's about it. You deposit money in the banks knowing they profit greatly off your deposits while you earn pennies in return. Because what's the alternative? Taxpayers' money is spent without consent, lacking accountability, transparency or consequences, yet we continue to pay into that system with the fear of imprisonment. NPC behavior has us complying with requests that in many cases can be politely declined. However, we view them as demands or mandatory. Failing to question the actual legalities or legitimate obligations of us is commonplace. A great example of this is filming in public and being told to stop by perceived authority. My home, the UK, has one of the most intrusive CCTV surveillance operations worldwide. This started what is known as the PINAC movement, or photography is not a crime. These are not random behaviours, they're the product of a system designed to keep you compliant, reliant and distracted. They aren't just personal struggles or everyday happenings, they're signs of a broken system, and we're feeding its continuation by blindly participating. If you want more evidence of NPC programming, look no further than the commonly overused phrase, "they said." But who exactly are they? They said typically references the government, perceived experts, and so-called authority figures. We're all guilty of sharing snippets of information with one another using the tagline, "they said." This almost always automatically strengthens the argument and presents the information as truth or fact that you would be stupid to challenge. So often we hear a small piece of information from any one of the government or big corporation-controlled propaganda outlets, and automatically it's law, an order, a command, a fact. It must be true if they said it. This leads to more compliance, control, and programming. The NPCs themselves are unknowingly recruiting more NPCs with this type of language and tendency to not question information themselves but happily share it as fact with the big "they said" stamp of approval. You'd be silly to challenge something if they said it's true, right? This is one of the most overused phrases in society that immediately destroys critical thinking, as we don't want to look stupid in challenging authority among our peers. Governments, corporations, media conglomerates, they're all architects and owners of this system, the legacy systems, but their power depends on your compliance. They thrive on the belief that you can't change anything, yet only exist as a result of your over-compliance and unwavering participation. They've turned from public servants, administrators, into unaccountable authoritarian power players. Think about it. When was the last time a government was truly held accountable for its failures? From economic crashes to policy disasters, the cycle is always the same. Mistakes were made, lessons were learned. Meanwhile, the consequences fall on you, the NPC. We can complain about the lack of accountability, but why should a government be accountable to NPCs? What's the incentive here? If there are no consequences, no alternatives, and by and large the masses are so easily controlled or swayed, who exactly do they need to be accountable to? NPCs. Yet we are held accountable for our actions every day. Over time, governments have sneakily shifted from administrators elected to serve to unaccountable authoritative overlords. Mistakes will do better next time. Corruption is complicated. Accountability non-existent. The worst part, the programming is so deep that even those who see through the lies and failures often end up defeated. They too shrug and say, "What can I do? Nothing will change. There is no alternative. Nothing else to do but carry on as we are." This resignation is just another sign of the programming, a self-fulfilling prophecy that ensures the system stays intact. This defeatist attitude is the ultimate victory for the system. This leads us further down the road of government authority, where power is used for their own betterment, rather than government administrators working for the best interest of the people. This leads to more NPC-style compliance. Governments win and are able to subdue the masses this way. The "they said" mindset, so it must be true, has and continues to kill critical thinking and continues the cycle of compliance and participation in a broken system. All of this only deepens the NPC programming. But now for the big question. How do we break free from our NPC comas? How do the masses of complicit NPCs escape this programming? Well, you have to opt out, not entirely, but step by step. This requires a shift not just in behavior, but in mindset. Ask yourself the question, do you want to change the financial, social and political systems of the world? Do you want a system that can't be evil rather than promises it won't be evil? If the answer to all of the above is yes, then now ask yourself, is there a system or collection of systems already being built working towards this goal? Once you find that actually yes, such a system has already been created and is now crying out for mass participation and adoption in order to succeed, you'll quickly drop the NPC status and realize we the people can actually do something about this dystopian world where you should apparently owe nothing and be happy. This isn't about physically overthrowing the government, but effectively starting a new one. In fact, one global community is already doing just that, building, adopting and participating in alternative systems that directly expose government's inefficiencies. Their lack of accountability and transparency is vital if we want change. Adopting such a system in a meaningful way not only extracts value from their legacy systems, but poses such a significant threat to their status quo that they have no option but to start taking the people seriously. Believe me, they are already aware of this system and are doing everything within their power to prevent you from finding it. The technology or system I'm speaking of is blockchain, and we will get into the specifics in a moment, but being decentralized, it solves a crucial problem. It can't be stopped. Its growth and adoption cannot be prevented by any so-called authority. Sure, they can try to suppress it through the programming we've discussed, but it will never prevent its existence. All financial, social and political systems can be exposed and improved by blockchain. The technology just requires meaningful adoption. Imagine a system where power doesn't rest in the hands of a few but is distributed among the many to the very edges. Blockchain isn't just about cryptocurrency, a tool for tech enthusiasts or traders. It's a revolutionary framework for accountability, transparency and independence. It's a way to reclaim control over your money, identity, your decisions, your voice and your future. Blockchain is a system designed to solve the very issues we've been discussing in this video. It's a system that in its very code is designed so it can't be evil, rather than just promises not to be. A system where centralized control is replaced by decentralized people-run networks that continues to decentralize the more people participate in. The lack of accountability is solved through transparent, verifiable and immutable records. Exploitation of the masses is challenged by a system that empowers individuals over institutions. Think for a moment about what blockchain really offers. Decentralized finance or DeFi, a financial system where no bank can freeze your funds or inflate your currency into worthlessness. You hold custody over your funds at all times, never needing permission to spend or move the value. Transparent governance, a voting system where every ballot is counted transparently and can be verified by anyone, even regular citizens, in real time. Decisions are made by the community at large, the collective, not a small group of unaccountable politicians. Global accessibility, no borders, no middlemen, just direct participation in a truly open system. Your social credit scoring or geographical location will not prevent you from accessing the blockchain, its services and unbounded potential. And a decentralized self-sustaining treasury. Imagine a system where the treasury, think the taxpayers' money pot, is spent by the taxpayers. Each dollar is traceable, each action verifiable, and impact clearly observable in the open public domain. Most importantly, the treasury is only spent with consent of the community. This is a simplistic but powerful overview of some of the most important characteristics of blockchain. But now for probably the most difficult question. What blockchain? There's thousands of them. How does one navigate entering this space and find the one blockchain that's most capable and importantly actually designed specifically to tackle the very issues outlined in this video? It would make sense to identify the one that not only was purpose-built to facilitate the kind of societal shift we've discussed, but also the one that technologically is actually capable of delivering it. In terms of this criteria, there is only one, and it's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin has proven itself to be the ultimate store of value and secure system for decentralized payment processing, which is now the largest crypto asset. However, the tech or system itself is outdated, limited, and not capable of facilitating what we've been discussing here. It doesn't have a governance framework, lacks programmability to evolve or build enterprise on, and does not have a treasury to facilitate the kind of decentralized growth required to evolve a system with the ambition to replace or at least compete with the legacy ones. So much so that developers in the Bitcoin space are now actively developing technologies that will enable Bitcoin users to directly plug and tap into the blockchain we were about to discuss. Enter the Cardano blockchain. Most people have probably never heard the word Cardano, but this is the most serious blockchain, technologically, philosophically, and in terms of vision. Not the one sold to you at the door for a quick investment flip. This is the one the NPC programmers don't want you to find. Nobody tells you this on entry. In fact, it's one of the most suppressed movements not only within the crypto space, but worldwide. NPC programming doesn't just stop with society itself, but has even infiltrated the space that was originally designed to counteract it. This means new entrants are being driven to centralized blockchains that are only different from legacy systems by name. First and foremost, thanks to its very deliberate architecture, Cardano shares many similarities to Bitcoin, therefore it is the most suited to enable users to seamlessly go between and interact with both chains. This is a crucial detail for long-term adoption and sustainability, as you are marrying the largest crypto asset by value or liquidity in Bitcoin with the most technologically advanced one in Cardano. If you begin to research its origins and development history, you will soon find that Cardano is playing a completely different game to all other blockchains. It was founded and built by OGs from the Bitcoin space to improve upon Bitcoin. It's finishing what Satoshi, the founder of Bitcoin, started, and is now realizing the true promise of this technology. Cardano has been in development for the best part of a decade, with one of the largest organically grown communities surrounding it. It's been ranked the best brand blockchain-wide by advertising agency MBLM, an independent body that ranks all the big tech and brands you know and love. Cardano is a blockchain that's been developed from the ground up, meticulously using the academic peer review process. No other blockchain has or probably ever will invest the amount of time, resources and effort in developing such a technology whose scientists, researchers and engineers span the globe and come from the highest academic institutions. The amount of research papers behind this technology is staggering. All of the technology that underpins this blockchain can be backed up and verified with mathematical and scientific proofs. It uses a functional programming language, just like military-grade mission-critical software found in defense, aerospace, and aviation. This means the claims made about its technology can be verified rather than just trust me bro, making Cardano the most provably secure, upgradable, and advanced blockchain system, bar none. As a result of all of this, Cardano boasts 100% uptime for over 7 years, meaning despite the attempts, it's never been hacked or had periods of outage. No other chain, not even Bitcoin, can claim this. It's the most decentralized according to the Edinburgh Decentralization Index, an independent research lab set up at the University of Edinburgh to gauge the level of decentralization of all cryptocurrencies. Being the most decentralized not only means it's the most accessible, but also secure, making it incredibly difficult for bad actors to break or take over control of the system. These are facts that can be verified by whoever wishes to investigate below the surface. These details matter because they are the very ingredients needed if you are actually attempting to challenge the centralized legacy systems. Cardano is not just a blockchain, it's a self-sustaining ecosystem with a $1.5 billion treasury and governance framework that by all accounts is the most participatory, fast developing and unique blockchain-wide. Its decentralized treasury is governed by the people who make up its growing community, and that means you if you choose to participate and join the movement. Imagine being able to fund projects that matter to you or propose and create solutions, launch new businesses and initiatives that contributes to building a new system that challenges the old one and secure funding all without needing permission. This is what Cardano offers, a social structure where communities, not governments, decide how its resources are allocated. That's the power of blockchain and Cardano. It's a system designed for transparency, accountability, and continuous evolution, one that taps into the collective brilliance of the many, not the limited brainpower of the few. So the possibilities really are endless. Businesses, solutions, and real-world property can all be built or purchased using treasury funding in a completely decentralized fashion. The points I'm making here are not accidental but deliberate. Cardano was built with a view to improve the political, social and financial systems of the world, and is a world financial and social operating system. But here's the catch, blockchain only works if people adopt it. The more we use it, the more it grows. The more it grows, the more it challenges the status quo. Only if we build an alternative that can't be infiltrated, seized or controlled by the legacy one can we then challenge governments. Explore Cardano because this blockchain system is advancing through its governance era where finally the people have the power. Not the founding entities, but each and every holder of its native currency ADA now has a say on its evolution. I have a video on what makes Cardano the killer blockchain if you want to go a little deeper on its extraordinary technology and characteristics. But back on topic, what can you do right now to escape the NPC simulation? Breaking free starts small. Learn about blockchain and Cardano, understand the basics of how it works and why it matters. It's simpler than you think. Check the helpful links that I've put in the description to get started. Experiment with decentralized tools. Buy a small amount of ADA, not to get rich, but as fuel to experience the system firsthand, as a ticket to build your understanding and even have a say in its current evolution. Cardano's governance era is moving fast, so I urge you to come and see what all the fuss is about. And finally, spread the word. Share what you learn with friends and family. The more people who join, the stronger the movement becomes. The more people who opt out, the faster the legacy system changes. Even if you only dip your toe in, you're taking a step toward independence and escaping the NPC programming. Every dollar, every vote, every transaction, decision or action on the blockchain demonstrates our intent to move away from centralized systems and is a vote for a better one. By adopting blockchain, you immediately create a decentralized out of the centralized system you are in. Far too many people think the power is with governments, but the power is with the people, and we have the freedom to create and adopt new systems, leaving the broken ones behind. Whilst yes, you still have to abide by the laws of the land, tapping into a blockchain rather than a centralized system is not illegal, and furthermore, is a very real solution to demonstrating to governments that we have the power, and if they fail to listen, they are going to lose more and more participation to decentralization. Blockchain is more than a technology, it's a modern day revolution, a peaceful protest against a system that no longer serves us. Imagine a world where borders don't limit opportunity, where financial systems are accessible to everyone, where you can truly own land, property and businesses without interference. This isn't science fiction, it's happening right now. Blockchain is building a new kind of nation, a decentralized network state where power belongs to the people. I have an introductory deep dive on this exact topic, also linked below. Blockchain isn't the absolute solution, but rather a mechanism to at least drop some of our NPC tendencies and start progressing down a more liberating path. It's a mechanism to reclaim control, and today provides a credible opportunity to begin to opt out of the broken systems we're in. The alternative, staying locked in a system that's proven time and time again that it doesn't serve you. You don't have to overthrow the government to send a message. By adopting decentralized systems, you force change. You remind those in power that we are not NPCs, we're players. They work for us, and not the other way around. Ultimately, unless we start caring about this, meaningful change is unlikely to come from a tired system that's locked in a cycle of greed and unaccountability. Will you wake up? The choice is yours. The first step is the hardest, but once you take it, you'll wonder why you waited so long. While the NPC factory is mass producing, what blockchain needs is mass adoption. Until next time, keep it sapient, investigate blockchain, and keep it Cardano.